What's up, everybody? It's Murk, and we're back here with some more Draft League content, and this time we're going to be coming at you with another fill-in game. This one is for my buddy T-Train in the NPA, the National Pokemon Association, I think. Fun fact, we are actually going to be the NPL, National Pokeball League, is going to be warring with the NPA in about a month or so that's kind of cool. Get to scout the competition a little bit. But I'm filling in for T-Train, coach of Luster's City FC, or PC, Pokemon Club, and he's sitting at 7-2 at the top of his division, and he's been really busy with school stuff, and he really wanted me to cop this win for him, because if he won this game, or if I won this game for him, then I believe he'd pretty much be clinched for a first-round bye in playoffs, which is what he wanted, so I definitely had a little pressure to help him do well there, and there was a little bit of incentive for me to play this game very well, because we are playing an old friend, an old acquaintance of ours, Gearhart, who we have not played him in the Draft League format in a very, very, very long time. The last time we played him was our second season in the LBA, and the time before that was in my first league ever, which we don't talk about. Both times he beat me, not entirely with skill and planning, I'll tell you that, but, so I've got a little vendetta. I don't want this guy I don't want him to be like my unlucky magnet, and I want to just kind of stun a little bit with my team and show that I'm definitely not the same player I was like a year and a half ago, because that was a long time ago when I was last in the LBA. So the team I'm rolling with is Superior, Gyarados, Porygon 2, Sneasel, Druddigon, Haunter, Magearna. That was probably the highest note I could ever make. Donphan, Cresselia, Girder, and Manectric. And fun fact, we can use any Z move on any Mon that's not like... I can't use Z conversion Porygon 2, which would have been kind of cool. Aside from that, everything is cool, aside from like evasion. And then on his team, he has Sylveon, Mamoswine, Serena, Mantine, Bronzong, Electrode, Mega Sharpedo, which cannot get Speed Boost, Komodo, Alolan Marowak, Type Null, and Excelgor. So he has a very interesting team. He's 6-3 on a little bit of a tailspin right now, or yeah. He's dropped his last two games, and he's still in the race for a playoff spot since I said 6-3. So it's a little more incentive to try and knock him out of playoffs, because that's what we do. And I have no doubt that T-Train could try and go for the same result, but I definitely wanted to go into this game with a little bit of fun. And you can probably see a little notes there, but go away. Looking at his team, he has some significant threats, and I did do some scouting, and Gearhart is one to kind of recycle sets a little bit. I noticed that he always brings Wish Sylveon, and he is prone to running Cute Charm on it with Moonblast, so that's definitely something I had to account for. I knew that he showed favoritism for like Scarf Mamoswine, so I had to account for that. Sereno and Mantine would be there for removal, since he shows that if he brings them, they will have removal on them. Bronzong most likely going to be the rocker. Not exactly sure what kind of set, but I can deal with a Bronzong. Electrode, I don't expect the Electrode to come, but if it does, I can just deal with it with my team. Mega Sharpedo is a very big threat, and I definitely had to prep well for. I had some ideas on how I wanted to deal with it. Komodo I felt was coming, because if you look at his team, Haunter absolutely wrecks him, and Komodo is one of his better checks to it, that and Type Null, which Type Null is complete trash. Alolan Marowak's kind of spooky, because it can 2-hit KO a lot of my team, or just one-shot it, but I can offensively check it. And Excelgor is another one that could be a little annoying, but I can deal with it defensively, even if it can't outspeed my team. So, it was pretty tough building this team. Went through a few renditions before I finally came up with what I wanted. And going into this game, we had some interesting things happen where, spoilers, I bring Haunter, and it was not updated on the dock correctly, and so he made a case that since he didn't know it was there and it completely wrecked his team, that he should be able to get a redo. So after lots of stuff going on where I got their co-commissioner to Rage Quit a Call, which I think is a pretty good highlight, he ended up getting rebuilds. So in the original game, he brought Sylveon, Mamoswine, Mantine, Bronzong, Alolan Marowak and Excelgor. And so I knew that after that he was going to definitely over-prep for the Haunter, and you'll see how that kind of affected his planning and what other things he could bring, because Haunter just shits on his defensive core, as you can see. And I guess we'll just hop into the builder. So first thing, of course, and we've got some nice nickname jabs at him, except Donphan is trash, because it is a trash Pokemon and it sucks. No shot at Gearhart for that. But the rest are nice shots, except for the Comfey, because Comfey's broken. Anyways, Haunter, Expert Belt, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Dazzling Gleam, and Thunderbolt. Originally I had Sludge Wave so that Kommo-o couldn't just switch into it freely with Bulletproof, but I couldn't figure out how to gen it, so I was like, fuck it, and I went with Sludge Bomb, because I have Dazzling Gleam to hit the Kommo-o. And Expert Belt Haunter shreds his team entirely, like completely destroys it. He does not have a switch in aside from Type Null and AV Kommo-o, which, it dies or AV Mamoswine can take a hit, or really especially bulky Mamo can take hits, but then it's not a big offensive threat to my team. So this thing is a really nice breaker, an offensive thingy. I have enough speed to outrun Mamoswine, I think. Let me double check that. It's for Kommo-o, yeah. If he's max speed Kommo-o, which I kind of thought he might bring like an AV set, because that's what I saw him bring AV once before, so I thought that might be a thing. So Haunter definitely does a lot of work against his team. However, that is not the big win condition. It is a threat to allow the man, the myth, the legend, Comfey to come in and do the absolute work. So we've got Comfey, Choice Scarfed with Soul Heart, Dazzling Gleam, Volt Switch, Flash Cannon, Shadow Ball, basically modest max special attack, max speed. And I said that Scarf Comfey was going to be the best set this week because he has I couldn't pinpoint one set that would do very well against him, because if I brought Trick Room, he could bring a Marowak or a Bronzong that could outslow it in Trick Room and get off big damage against me, or just straight kill me. I could go with Shift Gear, but then I could go with like Shift Gear or Trick Room, but along with the speed problem in Trick Room, I have pretty bad 4-move slot syndrome against his team, so I decided that I needed 4 attacks to be able to hit his team how I wanted to. So I tossed in the air between Berry 4 attacks, E-Belt, Life Orb, Specs, or what I came down with, which was Scarf. Now, what Scarf lets me do is it lets me revenge kill the Mamoswine, lets me revenge kill the Sharpedo, and the Kommo-o, which are all pretty decent threats against my team, and I knew it was something that he was not going to expect, because stuff like this does tend to catch Gearhart off guard. So I knew that this would be very strong against him, and overall, it is a very, very good Pokemon, because he has super limited switch-ins to this thing, like extremely limited switch-ins, and it's something that can, if I can weaken his checks to it, or just get rid of them, then this thing just gets a kill every time. And I'm just going to pause for a sec, hold on. Anyways, Magearna Comfey, in the right scenario can pretty much get a kill every time. The downside to Scarf Comfey are that Electrode and Excelgor outspeed me. However, I'm not too concerned about that because neither of them hit super hard, and if he does bring the Excelgor, I do kind of expect him to have Final Gambit, which, like, I can play around Final Gambit Excelgor. Next, we've got D-League, the Porygon 2, and I'm rocking a Violet, of course. I have Analytic as my ability because I didn't see Trace or Download being that useful, and I thought Analytic would be kind of cool because most of his team outspeeds this thing. And we've got Recover, Foul Play, T-Bolt, and Ice Beam. I chose Foul Play as my main coverage move because it lets me hit the Mamoswine, it lets me hit the Alolan Marowak, that's about it. But hitting those two for big damage is really important, so that I could also run Bolt Beam, because if I ran Bolt Beam with Tri-Attack, Marowak hard walls me. If I try and fit Shadow Ball on there somewhere, then Mamoswine can wall me, or something can wall me, so this was the optimal coverage. And then with my bulk investment, this is my only thing that can take 2 hits from Mega Sharpedo, and I have enough defensive investment so that I can take 2 Adamant Crunches after Rocks from his Mega Sharpedo. If he gets Rocks and Spikes up, then we might be in a little trouble, but since it's not Speed Boost, I can Revenge Kill it with my team since I've got Scarf Comfey, and I also have my Sneasel in the back, which you'll see in a bit. And then I just dump the rest into Spadef so I could help it could just take hits better from other things on his team, because you should never run max on a P2 unless you're running like offensive, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, that's this thing. It pivots the Mamoswine if he's not knockoff. It takes some hits, though EQ into Superpower can potentially kill me, or probably kill me, but that's okay because we have a Cresselia, and Cresselia eats everything. So we've got Colbert Crest with Moonblast, Moonlight, Calm Mind, Shadow Ball. This is here to check the Mamoswine. It can lure in the Mega Sharpedo. I can what can I do? I can kill the Komodo, yes, with a Moonblast, and I can take hits from it. If he was like Z Shadow Claw with the Dragon Dance, maybe it'd be a little go away pop-ups, I hate you. Maybe it'd be a little hairy, but who knows. So Moonblast Shadow Ball with Calm Mind made a pretty decent win condition along with Comfy against his team, and I don't know, it was a pretty decent set. Once again, freaking pop-ups, they always come in pairs, that's why, and I can't predict them. But Max Bizdef, just because this is my check to Mamoswine, and I want it to take hits from Mamoswine, and that's it. That's all I really care about it taking from, I guess, Komodo. But like, clanging scales ain't doing shit. And if I ran just 12 speed EVs, I would be able to outrun a max speed Jolly Marowak, so I probably should have done that, but I kind of forgot about it. So, oh well, and I could deal with Marowak anyways. Next we've got Trash, because Donphan sucks, with Yachi Berry, Sturdy, Rock Spin, EQ Knockoff. Here to check some stuff, here to get rocks up, here to keep rocks off my side of the field, because mons like Sneasel and Haunter don't really want to get whittled. Also, we're bringing 3 not fully evolved mons, which I thought was pretty rad. Yeah, Donphan's the only thing on this team that can actually evolve. Well, no, P2's middle. Nah. Forget what I'm saying. Donphan's just kind of here to check some stuff. Gives me another check to the Mamoswine, because I really didn't want to lose to that, because Mamo's spooky. Max Attack EQ does a pretty decent chunk against his whole team, and I have Knockoff to be able to hit the Bronzong, because letting Bronzong just kind of sit there and be annoying is annoying, and I wanted to be able to have ways on pretty much everything to chip it down so Comfy could go in and do the comfy things that it does best. Lastly, we've got a Sneasel, Life Orb, because his team doesn't have good answers to Life Orb Sneasel. I showed Low Kick, Ice Crash, and Knockoff with enough speed for, I think, the Sharpedo or something else. Yeah, Max Attack, and then just bulk in places that we had left over. Enough HP so we could hit the Life Orb number, because that's always ideal. Ice Shard is there so that we can check a weakened Komodo if it's like Autotomize or Dragon Dance. Low Kick, Okos, his Mamoswine, and Mega Sharpedo, which is nice. And then Icicle Crash and Knockoff are great dual stab against him. Defensive Mantine can take hits, and defensive Sylveon can take hits from me, but both of those are pretty free switch-ins to other mons on my team, since they're really passive. So I wasn't overly worried about this. I thought about bringing some other stuff. I really wanted to bring Throat Chop Sneasel to check the Sylveon, but since he was apt to bring Moonblast so much, I didn't think it was worth it. So that's the team, and let's go ahead and hop into this battle. Okay, so here we are, and I didn't mention before that the first time he brought Bronzong, Sylveon, Excelgor, Mantine, Mamo, and Marowak. He made some changes to his team. He now has Mega Sharpedo, Excelgor, Mamo, Sylveon, Komodo, and Bronzong. So he got rid of the Marowak, which is really good, because that's one less check to Magearna. Whatever, it's Magearna. I'm quitting the meme now. So yeah, Mag got a lot better because he didn't bring his Marowak, which is nice, and Mantine didn't really do much. It checked Sneasel, which would have been a little annoying. It kind of hazed my setup, but aside from that, not really that important. I can deal with the Sharpedo, I can deal with everything on his team, and I did not change my team at all, because I didn't really reveal much of anything on my team, aside from like 2 moves on my Crest and my Haunter set, which was just offensive. So I didn't feel the need to change anything, because those weren't even my strongest players. But yeah, I'm going to lead off with my Magearna, because his only electric immunity is Mamoswine, and there's no way in hell that he's switching that in, predicting me to Volt Switch out. So I have a pretty free Volt Switch against anything, or I can potentially just get a turn 1 kill depending on what he leads with. So we're going to lead with Mag. I can pretty much scare out his entire team if he doesn't lead with Zong, and he's going to lead off with his Sharpedo. Now this is perfect because there's 0% chance that he's going to hard switch into Mamoswine unless he knows for sure that the Volt Switch is coming. So I'm going to go for the Volt Switch, and he does just go into his Bronzong right here, which is good because I'm going to be able to get a little chip damage off on this thing and get momentum into my Donphan so that I can get rocks up and start threatening his team a little bit. So Donphan comes in. He shows he's not lefties, so that made me believe he was some kind of berry. Probably Colbur to be able to check my Sneasel. That's what my thought was at the time, as I'm going to lay up my rocks, he's going to lay up his, which is fine because I have Rapid Spin and he can't spin block me. So what I'm going to do here is go for the knockoff and just overall threaten his team a whole bunch. And he leaves this thing in, and he's not Colbur Berry, and I knock off the Light Clay, and that does a ton, like an absolute ton. So we're able to take off a ton of life from this Bronzong, and that was his Magearna check, which is really good for us. So he's going to go into his Sylveon now, and I believe I go for double knockoff, because I didn't want him getting up a Reflect as well. I wanted to just be able to get rid of the Bronzong. So the Light Screen's only there for 5 turns, because we were able to get rid of the Light Clay beforehand, and we're going to knock it off, as I know he's going to Wish right here. I'm pretty confident he's going to Wish, and even if he goes for the Hyper Voice, I can take a hit, and I'm just going to go for the Rapid Spin, because I want these rocks gone. And with the health that Bronzong is at, if he can't pass a Wish into it, which I'm not going to let him, he can't get his rocks back up against anything on my team, really. So he's going to go for the Yawn here, which is pretty cool. I've run that before. And we just go for the knockoff, playing it safe. I don't care if this thing gets back up to full, because Sylveon's not very good against my team, since it's just fodder for Haunter and Magearna. But I'm going to go into Porygon 2 here, because I don't want to hard switch into Haunter. I figured it wasn't... I thought he might carry Psyshock this game, but since he showed Yawn, I know he's going to have Protect Wish, since Gearhart's not that risky. And what I can do here is just go for the Thunderbolt. Once again, trying to catch the Bronzong. I guess Foul Play would have been the better option there, and an Analytic Foul Play would have done a chunk to the Mamo, potentially doing more than it could have, probably doing more than it would have wished up. And then, so I'm going to stay in and click Foul Play right here, as he's going to go for the Curse. Now, like, okay, that's not what I expected. I'm not very afraid of this, because I have my Magearna in the back, which can just hit it. And if he doesn't have like Rest, then I just chip away at it with Foul Play. So I get a nice Analytic Foul Play off right there. So now it's going to do a little less. However, I can just continually spam it and weaken this thing so that he is in range of my other mons. And he's going to go for the Avalanche right here. So it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Curse Avalanche, nice. But regardless, it doesn't do half to me, so I'm pretty free to fire off a Foul Play if I want. But I believe I just go for the Recover, yeah. So I'm just going to recover up, don't want to risk crits or anything, just continue scouting, because I believe at this point I can just 1v1 the Mamo. And then he shows Rest, so I've seen Curse, Rest, and Avalanche, which means either he is Rest to attacks, which means he'll be asleep for the next 2 turns, or he is Rest Talk, and he cannot hit me. Or he can't hit my Magearna. So I'm going to go hard into my Magearna, knowing that it is a very free switch in right now. And he's going to hard switch out, which is interesting. I thought he'd just Sleep Talk right there. It turned out for the game that he didn't have Sleep Talk and he had EQ or something like that. So as long as it's asleep, my Magearna is totally free switch in. And I get him on a great... I'm in a great spot right now, because it's Mag versus Komodo, and I can just click Dazzling Gleam and pick up a kill. Like, he's not going to go hard into his Mamo right here. And it can't do anything to me anyways, so I just go for the Dazzling Gleam, and down goes the Bronzong, and it's now 6 vs 5, which is very, very good for me, because Magearna is so strong against his team, like, insanely strong. He's going to go into the Excelgor here, and I'm just going to sniff out for the Final Gambit. I kind of thought he might, the second I saw Excelgor, I knew it was going to be Final Gambit to be able to chip away at my Mag. So I'm going to go hard in my Haunter, because I don't believe he can hit me with anything. As he goes for the Final Gambit, and because it's a fighting move, it's not going to affect me. And he's going to go for the U-turn, so definitely an interesting looking set. It's not going to do anything because it's 4 times resisted. And what I can do is fire off a Sludge Bomb right here, I think. Or no, do I go for the Shadow Ball? I think I go for the Shadow Ball, yeah. I considered changing Thunderbolt to Grass Knot or Energy Ball in this game to hit the Mamo, but I felt like my team would have been a little weaker to Mantine than I would have liked if I let that be the case. So Shadow Ball's a chunk, and here I'm just going to stay spamming Shadow Ball, because if I weaken the Mamoswine, then I can just start spamming Dazzling Gleam and just completely beat his team with Mag. So I don't mind losing my Haunters. He's going to go into his Komodo now, get the Bulletproof off, and here I'm totally fine to just sack off my Haunter to get Dazzling Gleam damage to this thing. So that's going to do a chunk. Shows he's Assault Vest, and he's going to overpredict and go for the Flamethrower right here, which is like fine with me. I didn't care if Haunter went down because it did its job of weakening this thing, and I had Magearna to really threaten the Sylveon. So now that he overpredicted, I can take out the Komodo, and we are in a very good spot of being up 6-4. Haunter's at a low state of health, but that's okay. He's going to go into the Sharpedo now, and like I don't want to lose my Haunter because I can still use this as a way to get a big chunk off the Sylveon. So I'm going to switch out, because why would we sack our things when we have a switch into it? So I've got P2, which can come in and take some crunches from this guy. So he's going to go ahead and Mega up, and he is going to, become a Mega Sharpedo. I really like Mega Sharpedo in League format, by the way. I have it in League, which you should be watching if you watch my videos. He goes for Crunch, it doesn't do anything. He gets the Defense drop, which is a little unfortunate. However, I'm kind of hoping he takes the bait and tries to Crunch me again so I can just get rid of it with the T-Bolt. Because I don't care if I take a lot of damage on P2, since all I need P2 for is the Shark. But he's going to switch out, so that was a smart play. Preserving Sharpedo is definitely his right move, since he just outright lose to Cress if he lost it, pretty much. Because if I Calm Minded against the... there could have been ways, but... Mamoswine's back in here, so Magearna's in. And he doesn't go for the Sleep Talk here, so it shows he doesn't have it, which what he claimed to be a mistake on his part. So that's a little too bad, but even if he was Rest Talk, he wouldn't do any damage to me with an Avalanche. So I'm going to build a Flash Cannon here, and down goes the Mamoswine. Now, at the range I'm at, I can take an Earthquake from the Sharpedo, and after Rocks, I have a chance to knock it out with a +2 hit, but he's going to go into Excelgor, and because he's at 50%, I know that Final Gambit's not going to be doing very much, so I'm just going to stay in here and click Flash Cannon. It goes for the Me First, which is kind of cool, as it was like anti-Haunter tech. So that's cool. The Flash Cannon doesn't do much. He gets the Spadat drop, doesn't really matter, as I can just knock this thing out with a Flash Cannon, and down she goes, and he's now going to go into Sharpedo, which I expected to have Earthquake. And I ran a few calcs, and after 2 rounds of Rocks, his Sharpedo is in range of a Flash Cannon. However, I'm not going to risk it because it is a roll, and if I get the roll, I could have just 6-0'd right here. However, I don't really care about the 6-0 because I want to win the game more than anything, and it would have been a little harder to win. So what I'm going to do is go hard into my Sneasel right here, because I could take an Earthquake and potentially do something fun with that. So EQ is going to do a lot, but I can outspeed. Now I can outrun this thing and go for a low kick, but he does have the Aqua Jet, so that's decent prep on his part. Down goes Sneasel. He gets a crit, doesn't matter because I'm a Sneasel. And what I can do now is just go into Magearna, and all I have to do is just click Volt Switch right here, because if he goes into Sylveon, I get the momentum and go into Haunter and get a kill, and if he leaves it in, it dies, and now I get to go into Haunter and get big damage off on the Sylveon. So down goes the Sharpedo. I'm going to win the game now because Haunter plus Magearna will beat the Sylveon, yeah. So Haunter comes out. Unfortunately, I was not able to get Haunter 4 kills in this game like the NPA requested. However, I will be able to have this thing go 1-1 because I'm going to fire off a Sludge Bomb right here. It's going to do a sizable chunk of damage. No poison, no crit, and he's going to go for the Moonblast, and that's going to knock me out. I thought I might be able to live it, but Haunter doesn't have the juice, so down goes Haunter, and all I have to do is go into Magearna, click Flash Cannon, and that will be the game. So yeah, that's going to be a nice 4-0 for us. A 4-0 for T-Train, really. So we get him a nice win. Definitely picking up putting him in a very solid place for playoffs, which is fun. And I got to use Magearna again, which is complete broken Pokemon. Never allow this in your leagues if you're not retarded, or sorry, really stupid. But yeah, Magearna's busted. I've used it twice, and it's 10-0 for me. So yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Anyways, it was pretty fun for me. Maybe not for Gearhart, but it was a very interesting turn of tale going through all the shenanigans that unfolded, but we got to use a Magearna, and that's all I really care about. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you thought, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.